Hell yeah, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to the first episode of Cold Ones with cold beers and colder guys.
We're not drunk yet.
All right, so this is a variation of our normal podcast where we have cold beers and we're just going to react to stuff because who doesn't like a good reaction?
Yeah.
Zach reacts. Sorry.
Zach's giving me a little twist. He's not telling me what these beers are. He's just making me taste test them.
True. So what we're going to do is we're going to split 3 pints. So this is 1 pint. We both got half of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to make Jet guess what it is. And then each pint we go through, we're going to move on to a different segment of the show. So we're going to start off with a little storytelling by me because I looked at a car the other day and it was a ridiculous experience.
He's also good at talking, so it works.
Yeah, I talk too much. And then second, we're going to go over some ridiculous car ads that I found recently. And third, we're going to go over some more ridiculous stuff from Reddit and Craigslist and whatnot. It'll be fun. First beer, Jet. What do you think?
Is it a Hefeweizen?
Mm-mm.
No.
Watch, you're gonna guess something. I won't know what it is. I'll be like, I don't know, maybe.
So is that actually what it is?
No, I know it's not Hefeweizen though. So I started off with something easy, and I'll give you one hint. We are working
something easy to guess or something easy to drink.
Both. We're starting light to dark. I wasn't gonna give you the heavy and then go light because you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. Is it a lager?
No.
Is it a blonde?
No.
Is it a beer?
Yeah. This is going to be one of the 3 beers at my wedding, actually. Hope you like it.
Oh, God. I do like it. It's tasty. I want to go on record and say that neither of us know anything about beer. We just drink it.
You'll find that out quickly. But,
I mean, we're already finding it out.
Overall, the pour was good. The colors are good. The bubbles are good. And it's also good.
Yeah, it's cold. It's a cold one.
You want me to start telling my story while you mull that over in your head?
Sure.
While you knead that over in your head?
While I sit and sip on that? Yeah, tell the story.
I'm in the market for a 4runner. I've been spending a lot of time on Craigslist, OfferUp, even Facebook Marketplace this time. I've never bought anything off Facebook Marketplace, but I started looking. I found one and went and looked at it the other day, and it was a shit show. And first of all, I need one.
Facebook Marketplace?
No, this one was from OfferUp. So just to explain why I'm trying to get one is I need a little bit of a bigger vehicle for work, for the mobile mechanic stuff, and just something with more space, something that I can kind of beat up. So I'm looking at 3rd-gen 4runners, so those are all about 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
So this one I went to look at, it was like a 99, I think, or 98. First of all, I came across the ad, 3 pictures, no description.
Nice.
Nothing.
Mm.
And I'm like, normally I see ads like that, and I'm like, all right, well, you're an idiot, so I'm not going to even respond to this. But it did look nice on the outside, and some of those are like scams too. But usually the scam ones at least fill out the description. They're like, email me at this ridiculous email address. So I was like, all right, this is probably real. He's probably just being lazy. So I texted him, like, hey, you got any pictures of the inside or a description? He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, like, I just was trying to get the ad up real quick, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, well, that was 6 hours ago. Anyways, dude responds to me, blah, 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 sends me some pictures of the inside, and it looked okay. Had some tears in the seats, but again, it's a 20-year-old car. I'm not expecting it to be perfect.
Right.
And as long as it's stuff I can fix, I don't really care. They sell replacement seat covers for like $50 and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If I decide I'm going to go look at a car, one of the things I do is I'm like, you have the title? Okay. Mm-hmm. Is it in your name? Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And so I asked this guy the same thing. Is the title in your name? Yeah. Title's in my name. I'm like, okay, cool. Because I'm not going to buy a car that's in someone else's name. I know people will do that, but like I just don't want to deal with any of that. Yeah. So it was super rainy that night. The dude could only meet after work. So like I got to his place at like 6:10 or something, 6:15. It's like dark outside, rainy. But at least I'd seen some pictures, so I kind of knew what I was getting into. And it was pretty cheap too. He had it up for like $6,900. I think I talked him down to like 64 before I went to look at it or something.
How many miles are on it?
This one had like 230,000, I think, which is actually low for a 4runner.
Spring chicken.
Yeah, decent mileage for what's out there. I get out there and I started looking at it and just like everything, dude. So the guy told me that he was daily driving it, right? And that's why he had to meet up after work. Like, oh yeah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I've been driving it every day. I drive it to work, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. I get out there. I'm looking at it. All the switches on the seat are, like, missing, like the little plastic covers on the switches. Like, it is a little rougher in person. I look, and like valve covers are leaking, and it's normal. But like bottom of the engine is like super wet and caked. I'm like, oh, and I look at the under panel, and it's like wet under there, and it wasn't all like oil colored. There was a little bit like green in there, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. The coolant was pink, but I'm like, is that oil? Is it just
Power
like
steering
other stuff?
fluid?
I don't know.
Weird.
It might have just been like
fluid.
dark reflecting my flashlight. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, I was like, well, this thing has like fat freaking leaks on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get to looking at it more, and I ask him something about it. I'm like, oh, what about this, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, I don't really know about that, because my wife drives this. I don't drive it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Red flag.
red flag number one, you told me in two different like parts of our conversations that you drive it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get in there and I like start it up. He's one of those guys like telling me like good things about it here and there, right? While you're just trying to look at the car. And I start up. I start testing all the windows. I go to roll them all down. The front right window doesn't roll down, and then the two rears won't roll up.
Nice.
And then the driver window also won't roll up. And so I was like, all right, these three don't roll back up. That one doesn't roll down. And he's like, oh, yeah, like these ones you have to roll up from the switches on the back doors. He rolls them up. And then he's like, yeah, the front right window, you can roll down with the switch, and then you can roll up with the driver's switch. I'm like, what the fuck? And then something about, I forget how we got the driver's window back up. Oh, you have to go all the way down, and then it'll come back up. So I had it like halfway down, and it wouldn't come back up. So it's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, oh, yeah, like I work at a body shop, and we had a switch from like a Corolla. It's basically like the same switch. Like I put that in there, and then now it does this. But like switches are like $12 online, anyways. Blah blah blah. It's like, all right, what the fuck? First of all, you said the Corolla switch is the same. Obviously, it isn't because it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, so it's not the same. And second of all, you just said it's only $12 online. Why don't you just buy a new one? Like, are you serious? So it's funny when people do that, like, oh, it's only $12 though if you did want to fix that issue. It's like, well, then why didn't you fix it?
Yeah.
So just like dumb stuff after dumb stuff, right? I checked the tranny fluid while I was running, and the dipstick was like super bent in a weird direction. Not just like the normal like bends that it had to get through the tube. Like it looked fucked up on the bottom, like twisted slightly. So it was like hard to get back in there. So it wouldn't bend easily to go the correct direction. So like I was messing with it for like a couple minutes trying to get it back in. Like checked fluid, and I was like, yeah, it's on there. Close enough. Shove it back in. I'm like trying to fuck with it. He's like standing there, and then he walks on the inside, and he's blah 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 blah. He's like, oh yeah, and this one has the electric locker, blah blah blah. So two rare options on the 4runner is heated seats in the front and electronic locker. But it's kind of a rare thing, right? My brother, I was talking to him about it. He's like, oh yeah, if you see that, it's like pretty rare, and that's like a cool thing to have, but it's not super necessary if I'm not crazy off-roading. But anyways, it's a switch next to the steering wheel. It's on the dash. I'd already looked for it, didn't have it. I saw that in the pictures before I went there. But I'm trying to get the dipstick back in. He's like, oh yeah, and this one has the electronic locking, blah blah blah. And I'm getting in. I'm like, does it? I didn't see the switch in there. He's like, oh what? They told me it did. Like the people I bought it from. He like goes in there and looks. Also, this dude had told me he had owned a 4runner before this. He had similar one that he had lifted. He said he had to sell it when the pandemic started. Blah blah blah. But like he's had another 4runner that he did all this work to. He was trying to tell me about. He had this one that he decided he didn't want to do work to.
Yeah. And
then he's like, yeah, how's the electronics? Like, you should know what that is.
Yeah.
You didn't check when you
He's
bought it?
counting on you not knowing what it is.
Yeah,
Just being like,
he was.
This is a fancy thing to say that this guy won't understand.
Yeah, because it's like, you obviously know what it is. You brought it up.
Yeah.
And it's an option that makes the trucks more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because I'm under the hood, and he's like, oh, yeah, and it has blah, blah. And I'm like, does it? I didn't see a switch in there. And then he keeps looking for it. Oh, they thought they will. Oh, I guess it doesn't have it. Oh, what the heck? I was like, all right, you proved yourself to be a f***ing idiot.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, I'm not sorry. And then we get to the pink slip, and I'm like, by this point, I'm like, all right, I'll still get it if I can get it for like $6,000, right?
Yeah.
And I asked him about the pink slip. He's like, oh, yeah, blah, blah. Because he was talking about a smog recently, and I Carfaxed it before I drove out there, and the smog he was talking about didn't line up. So anyways, come to find out after digging while talking to him in person, he bought the car in July, never registered it to himself, and the people he bought it from said it had just recently passed smog. Well, it passed smog in May of 2020, and he bought it in July of 2021, and then was like, oh, yeah, there's a recent smog, and just never registered in his name.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, dude, this is exactly what I was trying to avoid. That's why I asked you if the title was in your name.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me yes, which it completely wasn't. And he's like, yeah, we can go to, like, AAA, or he's like, I have AAA, I can go there and, like, get the title in my name and then sign a bill of sale over to you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. Why didn't you just title in your own name? Oh, I was busy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, I have AAA too. So if you want to go AAA, if they tell me I can put it in my name, because he said he was going to smog it the next day if I wanted to buy it.
Of course.
Because I'm not going to buy a car unless the title's in their name and it passes smog. So if it passes smog, probably fine.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, dude. Like, if it passes smog tomorrow and you want to go AAA and AAA tells me like I can put it directly into my name, I'm not putting in your name and then getting a bill of sale from like that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
But if they tell me, if AAA tells me, not you, if AAA tells me I can put it in my name, then that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, it's just like just a shit show, right? But I'm like, all right, whatever. If I can just talk him down a little more, I'll still get it. And then I go to drive it.
Oh God.
It's like 20 feet to the intersection from his house, and then I turn the corner, I start driving, and it's like just immediately like almost hit a parked car. It just pulls hell of hard to the right. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh my God, this pulls hard as shit. And
was he with you?
No, he let me drive by myself. I was like, you want to come with me? He's like, no, you can go out here. I was like, what's a good loop?
Afraid to die.
Yeah, right. And he's like, oh, you can go out here, and then you can get on Highway 99, loop back around, and come down here. And so I'm like, all right. I didn't really want to go on the freeway, but I was like, all right, I'll figure something out. And I start driving, and I'm like, oh, no wonder he didn't want to be in here. He didn't want to be witness to me being like, what the fuck's wrong with the truck, dude? So pulls hell of hard to the right. So I just get out on this main street, and I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll still do a little test drive. I get up to like 50 on like a bigger road, and like go to test the brakes and push them, not slam on them, but you know, like halfway, like a pretty hard brake, and just I was like, oh my God, all right, so that's either brakes or like whatever this front suspension issue is, right? And I think it might have been a salvage title, so like obviously if a car pulls and it's been in an accident, then that's like a bigger issue than like just a car pulling. And it was a hard pull. Jesus. So I get back and I look, and like the front left tire was worn really bad on the inside. The other one like a little bit. So I'm like, all right, needs tires, alignment, like brakes, like all this shit, right? Huge leaks. The switch doesn't work. I can't use the windows, like all this stuff, right? So I get back. I'm like, so what's up with it pulling to the right? Like you had to have noticed that. Oh, you know, I don't drive it that much. My girl does.
Oh my God,
all this shit. So I'm like, all right, well, like I don't want to be a dick, but like I'm not anywhere near like the price we had previously talked about if I was going to buy this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. And he wasn't like really saying anything, but I was trying to like imply like I'm either going to lowball you or like leave. And then I was like, yeah, it's got to be like way under 5 if I was even going to buy this. He's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's got to be like at least it's got to be like over 6 for me. I was like, all right, dude, like
good luck with that. Yeah.
I was like, good luck selling it. Let me know if you like have it in a few weeks and you want to let it go for like 5.
Yeah.
I was like, but thanks for letting me come look at it. And I left.
Dude, fuck that.
But it was just like red flag after red flag.
Oh my God. Dude, yeah, Craigslist people, I guess if you get like an idiot to come out and look at your stuff, you could get away with some of this stuff, but like what's his end goal? Like he has to know that
dupe someone into giving him $6,000 for the truck, and then like
but like,
and then they're gonna be calling him up because they can't register it. Like I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, go get it in your name and then sell it. It'd be easier for you.
Yeah, but it's like, what do you think he'd tell a normal person about the pull? Like, oh, like it's just you just got to get this one part. It's like $12 from Toyota, and they'll fix it. You know, like
probably.
Do people fall for that shit?
Dude, I think so. I literally, after looking at this truck, I was like, I need to come up with a way to like let people know I'll go with them to look at a used car for like $100. Because it could save them thousands of dollars. Dude, you could save so much money just having a car looked at by a mechanic. It's funny when I've seen plenty of ads where like, bring a mechanic with you. If you didn't know anything about cars, like, yeah, you would have not noticed any of that stuff, or like you would have felt the pull, but normal braking, you wouldn't feel the brake vibration. You know,
you had to slam on it.
Yeah, like halfway at like 50 miles an hour.
Right.
Like any normal braking, if you just test drove in the neighborhood, you never notice that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I think is another good point. When a normal person looks at a Craigslist car, they're like, "Oh, this is somebody else's car. Like, I gotta drive and like be polite. You gotta be mean to the car,
1000%,
or else you're gonna buy it. Then you're gonna be like, it's my car. I can be mean to it now, and everything's gonna show up."
Yep, 100%, dude. Yes, good advice. Because that brake vibration could have been brakes, or it could be something a lot more expensive.
Yeah, if there's some gnarly pull in the suspension, there could be like a bushing blown out or something. So when you slam on the brakes, the control arm's like bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, because that truck's 20 years old. All the rubber's 20 years old. Anyways, that's my 4runner story. So we could move on to fun stuff.
Okay. Speaking of fun stuff, is this beer an ale?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh yeah, you have to figure out what this is.
Yeah, I still don't know. Is it a pale ale?
Yes.
Okay. So I did it.
Can I give you one more hint?
Took me like 8 tries.
Can I give you one more hint? The can is green.
Is this a fucking Sierra Nevada?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God.
I gave you an easy one at
All
first.
right. Let's start the video over. That's so embarrassing. Take the most basic beer.
Yeah, dude, I thought you would get this one.
Dude, you know how long it's been since I've had a Sierra Nevada?
It probably
Apparently too long.
Yeah, it probably has been a while, actually.
Damn. Well, delicious beer anyways.
Because we drank some yesterday. I'm just kidding.
Was I there for that?
I'm just trying to make you look bad.
Oh, man.
We were drinking these this morning, Jet.
You had one of these before you left for work.